Wednesday, November 23rd, 2022. Day 9, Sag New Moon, Jupiter direct. I knew today would kick off renewed energy, but I had no idea I'd get my ticket today. I hardly slept. It was so cold last night. Increased conditions called for more stabilized internal system. I knew it had to mean change. The momentum and the energy really upped my vibration. The more I grounded myself and trusted the process, the faster things picked up. The faster things picked up. Monday was a transition day. It was day 7 of me being in the airport, and Miss Sandra came up and asked if she could pray for me. I told her my story of how I'd been in the airport for 7 days, and God called me to Honolulu. She shared He'd call her to Houston, and her mission was to serve in the airport. She brought me over to Terminal A. More airlines, food, couches, comfort. Except that night, it was freezing. I also realized she had surrendered to the homeless culture of the airport and had some fear-based beliefs. It was important to separate myself from that energy. I spent the whole of day 8 in baggage claim journaling, manifesting, giving thanks, and making the vision clear. All my friends checked on me. We laughed, and I seized the momentum of negative thinking. Just what the doctor ordered. I had some very intense dreams. I woke up and took a walk to cut the coldness off of me. I went upstairs to wash my face and brush my teeth and was led to sit next to this man, Mr. Baker. He reminded me of all the men in the Peterson family, hardworking and laid back. He flew into Houston to visit his daughter and 4 grands, his only daughter, like my dad. I told him I was flying to Honolulu, and he said he knew people who lived there and gave me their contact info. I knew it wouldn't be long after that. I danced in the sunroom, recorded some content, and prayed. Just 30 minutes later, Ivy called to check on me and offered me food. Prayer 1. At the same time, 9:58, Mika texted to ask about my holiday plans. I asked God if it was okay to tell her. He gave me the green light. 30 minutes later, she sent me the money for my ticket. Everything unfolded divinely. All I had to do was mind my business and do my part. The second part of this journey begins tomorrow, and I'll take the lessons of the last 9 days with me. Just pursue her. All is well. So, there's so many emotions in this, and I think what I want to highlight is that I had to make a conscious effort to be mindful of my environment, which is something that we don't often do because we become accustomed to our experience and to our environment, and then we dwell in it. When Miss Sandra took me to Terminal A, she took me to an established homeless shelter. Terminal A had couches that the homeless people in that terminal had a system of sleeping, a head to foot process, who gets to sleep where, make sure you get to this bench fast enough so that you're able to get a spot kind of system. And that was in the check-in area. When I was in Terminal C, I had been staying in the baggage claim area because it just felt more realistic. It made more sense to me. And the population of people was higher. The traffic was higher because different airlines are coming to baggage claim. So when I got to Terminal A, I surrendered to that system. I, was being led by Miss Sandra. She told me where to lay, where to sleep, how to sleep. She told me that I would need to, put on extra clothes because there was a fan right over the couch that we were sleeping under. Right over the couch that we were sleeping on, And I was there the full day of day 7, and then day 8, I started to realize, it was just people who have a lower vibrational thought process. And I don't mean to say that in any way, but I knew that I was on a mission that was going to take me to a place of abundance. And I knew that I had an abundant mindset. So I knew that if I hung out with them just because we happen to be in the same scenario, that there would be some level of inception on my mindset and their behavior, right? There was some gossip and, just a little bit of just like negative emotion, negative vibration of people feeling like they had to surrender to this process, to this place that they had been in their lives. And I was determined not to stay there, which means that I had to be okay with the fact that I was going to have to separate myself, which made me feel, even in that environment, it gave me a little bit of survivor's remorse. It made me feel like I was leaving the pack and I was going off. And because I had been there with them for 2 days, I didn't want Miss Sandra to think that I thought I was better than her. I didn't want her to think that I had looked at her in inferior light to me, because that wasn't the process. I just respected that she was first of all, there because she was serving God, but also there because she needed to be there, right? Just like I needed to be there. We didn't have the means to not be there. So we had no choice, right, in that moment. But she had succumbed not only to her experience as being on her godly mission, but also to the environment. So I had to separate myself from her and the homeless community that stays and lives, probably still to this day, in Terminal A. So as I'm reviewing all of my thoughts and I'm realizing that I was in a vulnerable place, which means that I could have gotten into a depressive state had I remained in that environment and continued to have low vibrational conversations and allowed the thinking and the being of these individuals to seep into my subconscious mind. It was very important for me to know who I was in that environment, to remember that just because I was there did not mean that I was of that place. So I had to keep that in mind, which I did. So as I'm navigating all of this, as soon as I removed myself from that environment, my friends called me. Not that they hadn't been, and the ones who knew, right? The ones who, in which God shared with me that I could share. As you heard me say, like, even with Mika, who was the person who actually purchased my ticket, I had to make a conscious effort to check in with God first. And we kind of get lost in that we take action without his permission. And then we end up in situations that go haywire, and then we're going back to him to ask him to fix it. But we never asked him to be involved in it in the first place. So as I'm on this journey, I'm realizing that I have to ask God first. Before I do anything, before I go outside, I ask him to come into my situation, to align me with people that I need to meet, hands that I need to shake, babies that I need to kiss. And that anyone who comes into my path while I'm on that journey, because anytime you go from one place to another, you are on a new journey, that he aligned me in good energy so that I'm not having to question, still using my discernment and my intuition, but that I'm not having to question if the circumstances and situations that I'm in were sent by him. I already know, because we established that before I took that journey on. So all in all, day 9 was a big day for me. The day before Thanksgiving, I got my ticket. And I slept day 9 into day 10, not like a baby, with a lot of anxiety, a lot of excitement, and ready to go. And I was very happy to have been there for 9 days and to have learned all the lessons that I learned about myself. So, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at simply_DP. Let me know what you think. What are your thoughts, feelings, emotions? Thank you.